Hey, good morning everyone. Welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for April 7th, 2017. I'm Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday everyone. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES. We're holding right at the center of this range. This is a range that I've talked about before with the HVN here right at the middle. Look at this coming right into it. Every time we get outside of it, we come right back. We get outside of it, we come right back. That was the point of me pointing out yesterday and all week that 53.54 is a very important pivot, and until we get away from it, we could see more chop back and forth. That's what makes it difficult to trigger entries around this zone on a swing basis. Much easier to get out here and wait for price to find a rejection point and then look to engage that opportunity. Right now we're not seeing that, so you have to be very careful as we head into the weekend. We're still trading neutral to the key range, which means we're trading in the middle 50% of this portion here between 35 and 70. And eventually we're going to see expansion. The overall trend has been to the upside, so the expectation would be that we eventually break this thing through 76.5 and rally this thing to the upside. If that were to happen, we'd have upside targets that we can play toward, 24.24 and as far as 24.59.75. Those are the upside targets. Any failure through 2300 opens up some more to the downside. But right now we're coiling up around the middle. Makes for a very difficult trade, as I mentioned before, and you can see the chop around it. But overall we're trending to the upside. On a swing basis, it just makes it very difficult to do anything at the moment. But on an intraday basis, you can kind of see what the market's up to at the moment. It's basically seeing a sell-off to begin the after hours trade. Price bounced back up to the midpoint, and now we have a key range to play off of for the day. So I would use the overnight high, the overnight low as the key range, find the midpoint, and now you have boundaries to fade and trade throughout the rest of the session, heading into the rest of the day and the weekend. We do have NFP coming up in about 30 minutes, so that's going to be something to watch out for, and that could spark it could be a catalyst for the market here as we head into the weekend. We'll see. Now taking a look here at crude oil. Let's bring up crude oil. There it is. We've had quite a move, almost into 53s this morning, and then a big pullback as well. That's going to be important to watch out for here because, again, this is something I talked about before. If we had reached the 51.71 to 52 level earlier, I thought it would have been a harder sell down. But because price needed to come back, because these bulls got paid hard going into that level, I thought bulls had the upper hand when bears came in here to defend. And so while bears came in here to defend, you can see bulls are still active in defending midpoints and defending previous support, and they were able to get the squeeze through the midpoint of the previous session. So that was the caution that I mentioned before. If you're a bear coming in, it was great for a day, but it wasn't great for a swing, because these bulls got paid and they were able to influence the direction here. So right now we are back to 53s, or had seen a move to 53s. That's kind of like the midpoint of this zone right here, kind of where the chunky part is. So coming back up here to that point is about as high as you would go for bears and still maintain control. So right now this is a zone where we are seeing some rejection. This could be a bigger rejection day than what we've seen here the previous session. But it's still difficult. Once you get into this mess, you could come up here after all this way and just start to trade sideways as it digests that move. So again, I would display a little caution up here, and let's let this thing play out a little bit. We've had a nice swing move up, and now we're trying to find if there's an opposite reaction coming soon. As of right now, you can see that the overnight rally here was very, very strong. Once it got into 53s or very close, it sold off back below 52.75s, 52.70, and that's where they've made it resistance here. So at the moment, short term, we're bouncing off of S3. That could provide a bounce back toward value between 52.30 and 52.55. Any bounce in that area could be an opportunity to sell it back toward the previous close, 51.74 to 51.59. So right now, a little bit of a pullback. We'll see if bears continue to maintain control of the day. All right, now taking a look at GC here. Here's a look at GC. Now in the higher time frame, what we see with GC is that we've had price push higher and then kind of softened a little bit, and now we're pushing up just again. So we finally got the last level we were looking for, which is 64.90, and that's this high. We had not hit it here, we rotated. We did not hit it there, we rotated. We hit the 63.20s there, but we didn't hit the 64.90s. And today, this morning, we finally hit the 64.90s, and we're starting to see initial rejection above that high. So it's getting above this high now, and any rejection at that point could finally determine a move back toward 1230 and perhaps a move back toward 1200. So right now, this is the first major test beyond the range, and if there's any rejection there, this could be the early indication of at least a return back down, very short term like this, with a shot at seeing more to come. Holding 1240 is a major concern for bulls. So any pullback here, bulls still want to try and defend for a squeeze. But right now I think bears have the upper hand, at least short term off of this level at the moment. Let's take a look at the intraday time frame. Oh, that's not the intraday time frame. So we bring it down here to the intraday. With gold, you'll see prices holding above 63.20. That's been a key level for us. There it is, 63.20. Price finally hit that 64.90 and beyond. Here's 64.20. And you can see how price is just holding right above it, right above it, right above it. So it tells you bulls are positioned here. That tells you that sell stops are below it. So if there's any failure to hold 63.20 here, we could be looking at a move back toward 5-day VPOC. That could take you back toward 1250s. Bottom of value would be 57.90 or thereabouts, 58s. So that's going to be a major support to watch. Bears right now defending the opposite end at 68, looking to run the stops through 63 and back to 5-day VPOC. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and happy Friday.